Hi y'all, it's Kimberly. Oops, this thing is kind of crooked. Okay. Today I'm gonna do a story time. That light is so horrible. I'm sorry, it's really bright out here today. I was trying to get the sun. The sun is back behind me. I'm gonna do a story time today about something that happened to me a long time ago. It's one of the scariest things that's ever happened to me. I've said that several times, but this really did. I mean, I really did get scared when this happened to me. Years ago, when I was young, I bought a car from this car lot, and I was a pizza delivery person. And I loved that job. I'd done it for, I think, about a couple of years, and then my car broke down, and I was trying to find another car, and I went to one of those kind of cheap, not real cheap, but they had some okay cars, pretty decent cars. I bought a Shelby Charger, and it was silver and blue, and it was so cool looking. I loved it, and it was a great car, and it was priced about right, and I could afford the payments with the job I had. And I drove it for about 2 months, and then the engine and the transmission went out at the same time. And that totaled the car. You know, it cost more to fix one of those than probably what the car was worth. Well, I think I was paying about $6,000, which that was kind of a pricey car for then. We're talking like about 25 years ago, I guess. It was a really cool car, really cool. I loved it, and I wanted to keep it for a long time because it's one of those kind of cars that it had the Shelby logo and all that on it, and it's one of the what do you call those? The issue cars that they have when they title them or put the logo on it, whatever, the Shelby logo, whatever it is. When they do special edition cars, I mean, that's what I meant to say, what I'm trying to say. But I got into a big fight with the dealer. He wanted me to buy another car and then tack that loan on top of another car. So I would be paying for like 2 cars, and I needed a decent car, one that would run. You know, it couldn't be a cheap piece of crap car because I had to use it for delivery, and I needed a really strong car with strong motor and strong transmission. And we just fought about it, and then I got the idea to picket the business. I made a sign. I drove I parked my car somewhere a couple blocks over, and somewhere where I could park it on the street where it wouldn't be towed. And I called the district attorney's office, and I talked to them about it. You know, I said it's in the Constitution, my right to assemble. I want to utilize that. I have some issue with this business owner. They're not doing anything about it. And so I told him I just want to do it for one day. I just want to do it, you know. Legally I'm allowed to. I just don't want any harassment from the cops. And that's what I was mostly scared of. Because I told the DA's office, I'm afraid that they'll try to arrest me or do something horrible to me, and, you know. I did it, and they sent like 5 cops, or he called the cops, and they sent like 4 or 5 cops one at a time. And I told them, I've already called the DA's office. I already told them it's in the Constitution, read the Constitution. I told each one of them that, you know, I have the right to assemble. I'm doing it peaceably, and I'm on the sidewalk. I have not stepped off the sidewalk. I have not said one word to him. I just have my sign, and I'm just going to do it. I actually only did it for about, I think, 5 or 6 hours. And then I think I had to go to the bathroom, so that's why I left. But I just wanted to do it, you know, for the purpose of doing it. And my moment of civil disobedience. And I got a lot of people that were honking their horns, and several people stopped saying, yes, I bought a car here, and it was a piece of crap. And, you know, I got a lot of support for it. And then the judge, a judge, who was in one of the districts, and he drove by. He was old, decrepit, a crooked judge who should have been taken off the bench a long time ago, and there were many incidents that occurred with him. He was doing things that were against people's civil rights and doing illegal things, you know, to people. He ran the courtroom, in his courtroom, like it was his own private business, or in his house or something like that. The way he thought was, you know, whatever he wanted was what was going to go down. And he harassed me. He made me come. He told me to come to his courtroom the next morning, and I was afraid not to. I was afraid they would put a warrant out for my arrest and arrest me if I didn't. So I went up there, and I was trying to do it. I wanted to tell him, you know, I have a right to do this. And when I got there, he couldn't remember who I was, and he couldn't remember the incident. And I told him, you just did that yesterday. I said, this is why people want you off the bench. This is why people think you're crazy. And it's in the Constitution. You know, I said, look it up, you know. And I told him, if you bother me again, I'm going to go to the TV station. I'm going to go to the DA's office. This will be the end of your career if you bother me again, because you're old and you're crazy. And you can't remember what happened yesterday. And so he kind of laid off me, or he didn't do anything to me. So I was relieved, and I was glad I stood up for myself that way, because that was a really scary thing. And I'm not a real confrontational kind of person. I will, if you confront me, I'll put you in the ground. But maybe I shouldn't say that. Not that. I didn't mean that. But I will put you on the ground. Let me say it that way. I'm not a psychopath. I just, I don't tolerate people doing things to me. And I try to stay out of other people's path. You know, if they stay out of my path. That's the way it is. That's the way I live my life. You know, just live and let live. And, years later, actually it was only, I think it was about a year or two later, I was delivering pizzas at the same place, still at the same job. It was on like a Friday or a Saturday night, the busiest night that I can ever remember, and I thought I was going to make just gobs of tips. I was making a lot of tips, and we were super busy. And I was taking 3 orders at one time, and that's only happened one other time that I had worked there throughout, I guess, the three or 4 years I was there. And because we usually only took 1 or 2 orders. 3 was only because if we were super bombed, and I think this was like a football night, one of the biggest football nights from the college or something like that. And I loaded up. I got about not even a block away from the pizza place, and I got pulled over for a tail light. My tail light was out or something like that. And then pull over, and then the cop, he came up to the window, and he was like trying to unsnap his gun holster. And I just looked at him like, what's going on? And he told me, put your hands up. And I was trying to get my insurance, and he started yelling at me, and then he pointed the gun at me, and I was like, what the? And he told me to get out of the car, and then he patted me down, and then he told me I was under arrest. And I was like, for what? And he told me, shut up, shut up. He just kept yelling at me, shut up, and be quiet. And I was like, this is illegal. They have to tell you, you know, in my mind. I know a little bit about the law, you know, I try to know enough, and I was like, no, this can't be right. And got arrested, got put in the back of the car. Thank goodness I had pulled my car over on a side street and left it. He let me lock it up, or he locked it for me, took my keys and everything, took me downtown to the police station. And I had never been arrested. I've never done anything, never been arrested, anything like that, never been to jail, nothing. So in the city where I lived in, we were going downtown, and we drove into this, it looked like a little warehouse beside the police station, and it was white, like a metal barn, and it had an overhead door. He raised it up, and we drove in, and then He made me get out of the car, and he put his gun in the lockbox, and then we were standing there, and I was like, oh, are you going to tell me why I'm being arrested? And there's like two other cops that walked up, and I said it that way on purpose because I still had no idea why he arrested me. And then the two cops kind of looked at him, and I said, he hasn't told me anything. He took me off my job. He came and got me off my job. And I don't even know why I'm here. I've never been arrested before in my life. I don't know why I'm here. And I was so terrified because when we first drove into that building, the whole place was painted white. I mean, it was solid white. Even the windows were painted out white. Or I don't think maybe it didn't have windows. I can't remember. I just remember there was no outdoor, I mean, you couldn't see nothing, but just total white interior. Even the lockers for their guns were painted, everything was painted white. And I was like, what the hell is this place? What is he going to do with me? And I was handcuffed, so I was terrified, and I was about to pass out. And then, well, the cops, they kind of like come over here, and they started talking, and I could kind of hear bits and pieces, and he came up, or the one cop, I think he was a superior officer or something. I think he had more stars or stripes or whatever they have on the uniform, whatever. And he goes, you've never been arrested? And nothing? And you don't know you didn't have any trouble or incident lately? I was like, no, I'm not a bad person. I don't go around getting into fights or doing things. I don't steal. I don't do drugs. Nothing, and we went inside like we were fixing to be booked, and this girl was standing next to me, and she had a t-shirt on and no pants, just her underwear and no socks or shoes. And then all of a sudden, the booking agent was trying to take my information, and then this other cop came over and told me, come over here. And they talked to me a little bit more. And I said, no, I don't understand. I was pulled off my job. I have a car with 3 loads of pizza. I'm a pizza delivery person. I explained the whole thing, I was like, I haven't even told my boss. He doesn't even know I'm here, He probably thinks maybe something happened to me. And so they let me call my boss, and I told him, I got arrested, this and that, and I didn't do anything. I don't know why. They haven't told me why I've been arrested. I don't know. And after that, they made me hang up the phone, and then somehow the other cop, they told me there was warrant out for my arrest for intent to do bodily harm, and it was signed by this crooked judge. And I was like, oh. So I told him the whole story of me protesting, blah, blah. And then one of the cops, he goes, I remember that. I went there. I said, I had a right to do that. And I kind of, when I looked at him, I was like, I think I kind of remember you. And I said, I told the DA's office, and I told them specifically for me not to be harassed by cops, because it's in the Constitution. I have a right to assemble. I have a right to do that. I had a right to that moment of civil disobedience, because I wanted to have my say, from what happened to me, from buying a car from that guy, and all the incident, everything that happened with that. And I told him it cost me, I didn't pay for it. It went on my credit. It ruined my credit. That's a huge thing to have on your credit. It ruined it. I told him I wanted to try to work it out with that person, but I'm not going to pay for 2 cars for something that the car had been parked. This guy's wife had died that owned the car. It had been parked for like a year or something in a garage. He didn't touch it because she died, and he was very emotionally upset. Then he just sold it real cheap at an auction just to get rid of it, because it was something, he needed to get rid of it. And all the liquids, all the chemicals and gas, all the I want to say oils or whatever, they ruined, and it ruined the motor and the transmission, and they didn't do anything. They just put oil in the car apparently and just started it up and got it running. They didn't repair it or anything. They didn't check anything on it. So it was like a horrible deal, and I didn't want to pay for it. And well, the cop took me back to my job, and I said, are you going to go in and tell my boss that I didn't do anything wrong, that I was falsely arrested? And he went in and he made this little speech. He didn't say I was falsely arrested, but he said, through no fault of her own, or something like that. And then I had to explain the whole thing to my boss, but he wasn't upset. I'm going to do another story about him. It was a stalker sort of situation. And something to the effect that he told other employees when they asked, well, is she fired, or what happened, or what are we going to do if she's in jail? And he goes, I'm going to bail her out. I'm going to get her out of jail, like, be a hero. So that's another story. But that was my moment of, I was one of the, that's probably one of my worst fears, would be arrested and be put in a Texas jail. I just tried my best to stay out of that. That's the way, one of the reasons why I try to live a better life. I want no part to do. I think that's one of the hardest things, probably, going through something like that and trying to rebound from it to get a job after that, or rebuild your life. I think it would be one of the hardest things ever. Well, that's my story about my brush with the law. Okay, thank you all. Thank you all my subscribers, and I have 41 so far. Thank you, thank you, thank you.